Hi, I'm Jack Lynch. Welcome to megahobby.com. We're going to do a little brief video here about diorama composition. Dioramas are a way to show your vehicle, your car, your figure in its element. In other words, instead of just building a model and sitting it up on the shelf and staring at it now and then, why not tell a story with it? So when I do a vehicle or I do a figure, as I'm doing it, I'm kind of reading about it. I mean, that's one of the things I've always liked about the plastic model building hobby, is that I learn a lot about history and I learn a lot about the vehicles because I'm researching it. Basically, I'm looking for pictures, and with the internet now, you've got a gold mine, just full of information about these things. I go up and I Google M20 armored car and I get hundreds of pictures and I get information or links to manuals about it. So learn about the vehicle, and I learned that the M20 armored car and the M8 Greyhound armored car did a lot in the World War II late European theater in Germany, France, into Germany. And I decided to do a Battle of the Bulge diorama with this vehicle, plus with some other figures. I had some figures in my collection, and I had this little set of figures that go with the Battle of the Bulge. And what's interesting about them is they're reversible. In other words, they come with two sets of arms. Now, like I said, it's an old discontinued kit, but it was interesting because you could do the figures either with the German winning or the Allied soldier winning. So you could do the beginning of the battle and the end of the battle, which intrigued me. So the first step in doing a diorama is the concept. In other words, what do I want it to look like? It's best to do it on a small space. In other words, if your diorama gets huge, it just gets ungainly and you don't know what the action is, what's going on. If you zero in on one action, which is what I have two bases here, and I'm going to do two separate dioramas, beginning and end of the bulge. So my figures are here, and this is actually the American capturing the German scene. And I thought the vehicle should be crashing itself off of like a hedgerow in France, and the German soldier who's got his arms up is climbing out of the Jeep, walking up the hill, and then the American soldier with his Thompson submachine gun is up at the top of the hill telling him, let's go, get out here. So this gives me the basic unit. This gives me the vehicle, the two figures, and they all tie together in a circle. In other words, everything kind of moves in a circle on the base. So I'll flesh that out and I'll start to do groundwork. Now, I'm going to move this and bring the other diorama in and show you, because it's almost done. I'm at the point where there's groundwork on the base and I'm ready to place things. This is the M20 armored car diorama base. And what I've done is I've taken that pure wood base and I've stained it with like a wood stain and put a gloss coat over it. I used Tamiya gloss coat so I get a nice sheen on that base. So that's a nice presentation base. The diorama itself, I used the foam, like the big thick insulation foam like you see on the other one, to build the basic shape. Then I took plaster cloth around the outer edge to smooth it out. I wanted it to kind of look like snow, because snow was the element in the Battle of the Bulge that set it apart. It was winter 1944 and it snowed. So basically I did the conceptual base, and then I took my armored car and I laid Sculptamold, which is a paper mache type material, over the top of the base. That way, while that's wet and you get a lot of playtime, I went in and I created a crater here because there's an explosion here that sent the car off the road, and I put tire tracks in it by taking a little wheel from a model, wetting it, and just driving it into the wet celluclane, and it made tire tracks. Then I built up snow where the truck would have skid over and pushed the snow up. And so I'll place him on the base here. And you can see he fits really nicely right on that base. So we've mounted our M20 armored car, Battle of the Bulge, on the base. And when I look at a base, I try to find something tall or a building piece or something just to give it a little bit of height. Because right now, if I put my figures on here, it's just going to be a nice flat plane. So I looked around and I thought, okay, what do I want for wintertime, French countryside, or Belgium, I should say. And I thought, what about a tree? The truck could slide off the road, which gives me the opportunity to put tire treads and pushed up snow there. Plus, it may hit a tree. So I found this really great piece of model railroad sagebrush material, and I put a pin in the base and I drilled a hole in the tree. And I fit my tree before I fit the truck on there, but now it's all done. So you see the finished product. And I find the hole in the tree and put it down in there. So there you go. This is the basic scene, which is there's a shell crater here, which sent the car off the road. It slid, it hit a tree, bang. And then I can put my final elements on here, which are the two figures. And we'll put our American here. And you notice that I always put pins on my figure's feet. And we saw earlier, I have little blocks of wood underneath the foam here. That's so that I can glue my figure down and he'll be nice and solid. And when I transport this around, he won't come off. So there's your American. He's climbed out of his vehicle. He's wounded. He has something going on there with his hand. And then the German is coming up the road to capture him. So that's your beginning of the Battle of the Bulge, December 16th, 1944. Germans have taken the Americans by surprise and captured these guys. And then the next diorama that I showed you earlier will be the end of the Battle of the Bulge, where the American guy is capturing the German. They ran out of gas and that was the end of it. So that's basic diorama composition. And as you can see, it's just painted, and I'll have to go back now, do all my airbrushing on the base and finish painting the figures up.